photojournalist Shauna Jackson. She has been in Moore all day.
Shauna Jackson down there on the scene.
I'm seeing a lot of destruction down here right now.
Caught on video exclusively by KFOR photographer Shauna Jackson.
We are here at the corner of Griffin and Commerce Street, keeping a safe distance away from the area where we heard those gunshots coming from. But if I had to estimate, Shauna, how many gunshots would you say we heard?
At least 10.
We heard at least 10 gunshots, if not more.
It's not all about boxing. Boxing is a perk.
Now,
Boxing is an award.
This is my passion. I love doing what I do. We work with kids through the sport of boxing.
Acting.
I do mentoring. I'll do after-school program. I actually have tutoring. I have people come here and they tutor the kids on curriculums.
Let's sound that word out.
It's all free too. When at-school tutoring and stuff like that, it's all free. So it's just for the kids.
3, 6.
Good job.
It helps them out a lot mentally. School grades wise, anger wise. It just helps them out a whole bunch.
don't pull back.
There's so much gang-infested things going on right now, and that's what I want to keep those kids away from.
Jab, jab, jab. Hit the bag.
This is who I depended on to go in there and kind of navigate around the small bumps that children sometimes have.
One. Snap it. Ha!
I just want to be an influence in somebody's life. That's all I want to do.
He takes them into the gym and show them different ways to channel that anger.
It's not just boxing. You think you're getting away with something in school, you might see one of us show up at your school. He go pull the report cards before they get the report cards.
They need somebody to kind of mentor them.
And stay there, right there.
Encourage them that you don't have to be in a gang, get in trouble. As long as they're coming here, they're keeping their grades up, that's a plus for me. This is my passion. I love doing what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it until God brings me up to him. If I can save one kid, that makes a difference.
Right back. Time. Good job. Good job.
A light went down and it hit me in the head. And all the other girls were screaming and they were crying.
Terror at Plaza Towers Elementary as students and staffers huddled, a devastating tornado barreling down.
I have blood in my hair from my friend. She was on top of me. She was bleeding because she got hit pretty hard.
Outside in the aftermath, a scene even worse. Chaos, devastation, and an entire neighborhood destroyed. A powerful twister that raked and scraped this part of Moore all the way down to the dirt.
How do you put into words like
You don't. Can't. It's your whole life. It's just gone.
By early afternoon, confirmation in the worst way. Authorities say 7 children died while taking shelter at Plaza Towers Elementary, and even more were feared dead, the number possibly expected to rise. And this once quiet neighborhood will never feel the same again.
Signs of the city's growing homeless population are everywhere. Encampments litter the city, like this one under I-45 next to Deep Ellum.
We can't say that there's nothing that we can do. We have to continue to try to do more and to try to do better with what we have.
When the city has cleared out homeless encampments, new ones pop up in other places. Daniel Roby is the executive director for the Austin Street Shelter.
It is always heartbreaking when anybody has no opportunity for shelter and has to sleep outside. It's not safe. 78% of women who are homeless have been physically or sexually victimized.
We're having a spike in homelessness, and that is overwhelming the assets that we have downtown.
Dallas City Councilman Philip Kingston says something has to be done.
What we need to do is have a strategy so that the rest of the city can bear some of the burden that right now really only affects the core.
The last count of the homeless population showed the number of people living on the street is up 23% compared with last year. But after city staff looked at 7 different locations suggested by council members, ranging from the old Dawson State Jail to the former Timberlawn Psychiatric Hospital to a motel or the old Parkland Hospital, the assistant city manager wrote staff does not recommend the suggested sites.
The memo to me, when you read it as a whole, appears to be staff saying that they don't want to do a homeless assistance center.
The memo does not offer any additional locations that could work, and there are no dates for any future discussions.
I don't want staff to tell me what I can't do. I'm already really aware of that. I want to be told what I can do.
From sliding to climbing and using ropes and floats.
They did a great job. It looks great. Just got off the lazy river. I've done probably 20 laps. We're going to try the pool next.
Dallas's new aquatic centers are loved by all ages.
I think it's awesome to be here.
I'm not scared of big slides.
It's like really fun, and it's really big, and it's like it's for the family, and you can enjoy with friends.
15-year-old Rachel Flores brought her neighbors, an 8-year-old and 10-month-old.
I was already waiting since the beginning of the summer. I was like, when is it going to open? When is it going to open?
The Aquatic Center in Pleasant Grove opened 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, the grand opening in far north Dallas last week got rained out.
What was behind the delays? I mean, was it the city not getting permits done in time, or was it the contractor, or both?
And I think the blame can go both ways. What I am excited, though, is that we are open today.
The city wants to make it up to the community.
We know that people have been anxious and waiting to be able to experience our aquatic centers, so we're going to extend our hours up until it starts getting cold here in Dallas, and hopefully that's, mid-October or so.
The news is making a splash.
School is fun, and the going in water is also really fun.
The opening was sentimental to Randall Cole.
Started coming here back in the 50s as a little kid. At some point, people quit coming, I guess because of the integration issues. It just almost got abandoned. And I hated to see that. I was always here, but for a long time, there'd be almost nobody here.
But today, the Samuel Grand Aquatic Center was a melting pot of people from all demographics.
You got the whole community here. I'm just thrilled to see it. It just makes my heart glad. You don't know if somebody's rich or poor or what here. We're all Dallasites.
It is a race against time. Volunteers are packing, hauling, loading a house full of furniture.
We were the first people here to help them.
Gary and Rhonda Buford moved here 9 years ago for the river view. They never imagined the raging water would chase them away.
That's the hard part. My 43 acres of retirement land that I could let my family retire on and give it to my kids when I'm gone. It's no more.
They have seen the Canadian rise before, but nothing like this. Last Friday's torrential rains turned their property into an island. Now, to put this into perspective, this fence is the back of his property. It was 220 yards from the river when they moved here 9 years ago. And take a look at that tree back there. That was land just 2 days ago. That's how much the river has eroded their property since Friday. The Bufords have flood insurance, but it doesn't cover erosion.
This is a little guest house that my son lives in.
The Bufords have already lost a barn. This guest house will likely be swallowed next.
This is, where I've always wanted to live, and just have my house fall off into the river. It just breaks your heart.
A local church will be their refuge for now, with hopes that the North Canadian will retreat and allow this family to eventually return.
Maybe.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah, maybe.